If you're someone who's considering buying your first home this year, you're probably wondering what exactly is involved in that process and what each step looks like. Hi, my name's Erin. I'm a realtor with Trailside Property Group in Asheville, North Carolina. Today we'll be talking about the steps for buying a home. And just to note, these are North Carolina specific. So a lot of the things will be similar in other states, but every state does things a little bit differently. So this is for North Carolina when you're buying a home. Step one is so important. Well, they're all important, but step one is one that's most important to me. We've talked about this a few times on this channel, but speaking to a lender is the first thing you want to do. So finding a lender can make or break a deal, and we've seen it happen many times. You might come across lenders online who are offering deals, discounted rates, things like that. It's always important to talk to a few different lenders, find out what those discounts actually mean if they're offering you a discount, and ask questions like, are you lumping anything into the closing costs that I should know about? How good are you with communication? What hours are you available? Finding someone who knows your local market is really helpful, and also finding someone who has already worked with your realtor and has a rapport with them is really helpful. Sometimes you need to get a hold of your lender on off hours or on the weekends, and having someone who will give you your cell phone number and answer that call is really key to making the transaction nice and smooth. So once you talk to the lender and you get a pre-approval letter, they will give you a range of affordability, and you should look at those numbers and find out what actually feels comfortable for your family. So maybe you're pre-approved for $500,000, but a mortgage payment at the $350,000 mark feels way more comfortable for your household. You do not have to buy the max amount that you're pre-qualified for. So talk to your lender, crunch the numbers, find out what your monthly payment will look like at different purchase prices. And then once you have those numbers, it's time to talk to your realtor and start seeing houses. So step number 2 is the fun part. This is when we get to look at houses. Now, somewhere throughout this process, you've probably had a buyer consultation with your realtor to let them know what is important to your family, what you need to have, what would be nice to have, and what are absolute no's for you. So they should already be looking at the market and getting a list of properties for you to go see. A lot of times when we start this process, buyers will ask me, what's a reasonable number of houses for me to look at? And to be honest, it depends on the person. You'll get different answers to this question, but I find that even when we know exactly what you're looking for, oftentimes you don't really know until you start looking at the houses. You might get into one house that doesn't have the backyard that you envisioned, but it has something else, and you think, oh, actually I can make this compromise here. So some people write an offer on their first house that they look at, and that's totally fine. And other people, it takes a while. It also depends on your timeline. Do you need to move really soon, or do you have 6 months to figure out what you're looking at? That can kind of determine how long we look at properties and how urgent this process is. So we could look at properties on a weekend, write an offer on Sunday, and be under contract on Monday, or we could look at properties for months slowly, and then we'll find what works for you. Step 3 is writing the offer. So you will find the house that you like, you'll discuss with your realtor what kind of offer you'd like to place, and then they will send you all the paperwork, you'll sign it, and they will submit it to the listing agent. This process could be quick. You could be under contract in a couple of hours, or it could take a while depending on the situation. So just make sure to keep an open line of communication with your realtor. Maybe let them know, hey, I'm an anxious person and I need an update every hour, or hey, just do your thing and let me know once you hear back. Communication is key during this process because understandably it can be a little anxiety inducing. And then hopefully you'll hear back and get your offer accepted, or they might counter, and then you can discuss another counter or accepting their counter offer. Step 4 is that accepted offer. Once your offer is accepted, you'll do a couple of things. You will write your due diligence and earnest money check and get those to where they need to go as soon as possible. Just a note, again, this is North Carolina specific, so if you don't know what due diligence is, you can check out other videos on our channel where we discuss due diligence and earnest money and what that process looks like. Then you're in your due diligence period. This period of time is when you get any inspections done that you want to do. You'll get your appraisal done to make sure that your financing will go through, and don't hesitate to get any and all inspections that you need to feel comfortable. You might also negotiate repairs during this time. So if you find something in the inspection report that you want the seller to fix or compensate you for, then your realtor can discuss that with you and what that process looks like. But basically, you might have some back and forth during this period of time where you get all your ducks in a row and make sure that the house is exactly what you need and want. If the house isn't what you expected, you can back out during this time. You're allowed to back out at any time, but due diligence period is a good time to back out to protect your earnest money. Due diligence period might move really fast, and it also might move kind of slow. There might be periods of time where you're waiting to get your inspection report back, or you're waiting to hear back from the appraiser, and you just don't have any updates. There isn't much to worry about. So just keep that in mind as you enter into this phase. It could be 30 days where there are a couple of weeks where things are moving really quickly, and then you're just kind of hanging out and getting ready for your move before closing day. Next comes closing day. So in North Carolina, we are an attorney state, so you will go to an attorney's office to sign all your closing documents, most likely. And then usually there's a little period of time in between where you have to wait for the property to get funded and the deed to get recorded, so you might not get your keys right away. Make sure if you want to move in the day of closing that you schedule it early in the day for the best chance that it will record by end of day and you can get those keys. Closing on a Friday can be a little risky because if the deed doesn't record, you might not be able to move in until Monday. So just plan in advance when it comes to what time you're signing, especially if you have moving trucks involved or other people involved. You want to be able to schedule things appropriately. So that's the quick version of buying a home in North Carolina. Those are the steps that you usually expect to see. And obviously each step has more nuance to it and more details, which we discuss further on this channel. And you can also work with your realtor or call us if you have questions or want to sit down and have that buyer consultation and get ready to start looking at homes. So again, I'm Erin with Trailside Property Group in Asheville, North Carolina. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. If you like what you see, please subscribe and leave a comment below. Tell us how your home buying journey has gone. And if you haven't done it yet, let us know any questions that you have that we can answer for you.